When social anxiety never goes away. So, this is a question that we get a lot because, of course, we're a group that talks about sex, dating, relationships, men's development, and so on. And when we have fear about going out and talking to somebody or expressing ourselves in some way, it becomes this huge challenge. Man, it's crazy, right? It's crazy. When we are blocked, when we have a fear, what do we need to do? We need to man up. We need to defeat that fear. We need to crush it. We need to do the opposite of it. We need to stack up all this crazy behavior in order to beat it and to never be done with it and totally kill it. Well, the problem is that never works. And that never works because when you react based off of your pain or your fear, you empower your pain, you make it a bigger deal, and you cause this war between it, right? And then that war distracts you from the solution of what you really need to do. We always say pain shows us where the problem is, but it doesn't show us the solution. And when we get too involved in our pain, we get blinded about the solution and we start thinking it's about like, an us versus them thing rather than anything else. So this is an interesting thing. And, this is a part of our Daily Awesome broadcast. Welcome, guys. It's a podcast about men's development. We have these calls. It's on our Men's Development Excellence call. It's 11:05 p.m. Austin time. And man, it's super cool. We're streaming live on our Austin Men's Development group. What's up, guys, down there? And we're also recording here, which is for our podcast, which is on iTunes, Stitcher, and YouTube. And if you're watching on that or part of it or whatever, and if you want to watch the video and so on, click the free stuff link down below, because in that free stuff link, it will not only show you how to get on the Austin Men's Development Board, which is free and really invaluable if you use it. Don't just sit there and do nothing. Get to know us, man. Come on. That's what we are. But also, you can download a free PDF, which, man, it was basically built and designed by people in this group and answering questions in it and workshopping it of stuff that actually works, right? And also, you can find out about our paid group if you want to show up on these calls, interact with myself and a ton of other different coaches and experienced guys on that same path, whether that's on our Wednesday night call or on our Sunday all-day call. And you really have no excuse no matter what time zone you live in, because that goes on for like 15 hours to 20 hours. And, minimum it's going to go 5-6 hours, which happened this month on a holiday. But even on Christmas, man, it's gone 20 hours and so on. So it's like we put in a lot of work, And when we put in a lot of work and we get the real story of man, and when it comes to things about social anxiety, we get that pressure. We all know what that feels like, and I feel it. And I'll get into that. And so many other people who have a lot of experience with dating and sex feel it. Is that we start to notice that the answer isn't this snap into a Slim Jim empowerment. I'm going to force myself to, make an impression. I'm going to break this out of myself. It stops becoming that. Now, we always do feel a little bit bad. I mean, man, if we see a beautiful woman, or if we see an opportunity where we should have asserted ourselves, or if we decided that, we should have made a sale then, or whatever our job is to put ourselves in the pressure cooker, and we don't do it, and we willfully say, we listen to our fears and we go, man, I'm not going to do it because I'm afraid. We're going to feel bad. We're going to feel bad, and that's a part of life. And I'm not saying that you shouldn't push yourself and you shouldn't confront your fears. But if you only listen to that fear, you're blinded by it. You're blinded for life by it. And that sucks, man. I see so many pickup guys go down the wrong rabbit hole and get lost somewhere and end up in China or something when we started in America. Obviously, if you're in China, not too bad. But you end up somewhere in the middle of nowhere from where you actually wanted to go, where you needed to go, what was to benefit yourself. And your one problem in pursuit of it becomes a whole bunch of different stuff. So here's the thing. I was thinking about this because I've been a dating coach for a long time. All right. 2006. You asked me to do whatever, I'd do it. I'd do it, man. Played in a bunch of DIY punk bands, did crazy shit, did a lot of drugs. I was nuts, man. You asked me to do something. You wanted me to go moonwalk in a store, like kiss the shoulder of some girl as my opener. No problem. I tried. It was a novelty. It was cool. It was funny, man. I could handle it. I could handle the pressure. If they got mad, I'd talk my way out of it. It was fun. Other people were looking at me. It was entertaining. And all those were the reasons why it worked. Then sometimes there was a benefit where people gave me a lot of attention because I was crazy and I was bold. I made a big decision and choice. But think about those things that was serving for me. It was entertaining, right? It was something which it forced a reaction. And I was good at being okay with forcing that reaction. Let's say it was a time where I was under pressure and I had to go. I had to do it, right? I had to go for it. And when I went for it, man, it was actually a form of performance or entertainment or something like that. And after a while of doing that, the bummer with it all is that it stops having value. It stops having meaning. It really gets disheartening. It sucks, man. It's really a bummer. Okay, before I get to the solution with this, check this out. You keep going towards it, kind of level out with that. I get good enough with women. I was always a really sexual guy. I started to get laid a lot. And then the same thing starts to happen with sex is that I was really bold with sex. I could go for it quick. I had no problem escalating right away. I was no problem trying a new thing or being bold. And it would fail a lot of times and it wouldn't work. And it would, piss some people off, but I was good at calming that and making it, go in a different direction and improvising around it. So that was cool, so it was pretty awesome, but again, it was like the boldness. It was that fire. It was that thing that made me go for it. And sometimes I held on to that. In fact, a lot of times I held on to that thing that made me go for it more than the stuff that was really me, right? And so then the same thing started happening with sex. It started feeling weird or bad or like, I'd have it. And I actually got to the point, I remember when I was 30 years old. So I got involved in pickup, when I was 28, maybe 27 anyway. But the thing is that I was 2 years into it. I had sex with a lot of women. I'd done all the things that like pickup said was the thing to do. And again, it was kids trying to figure stuff out, right? Is that I had a lot of abundance, I had a lot of women that were hot women that would do things sexually all over the map. Like I had all these things that were really the superlatives of the things that guys chased and wanted. And the guys would hire me, say that would, if they could only have that, it would make them happy. Man, if I could just have SNLs, man, I could have 3 of those a week. It was easy for me to get. If only a woman served me, if only 2 women lived with me and did whatever I said or whatever, blah, 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 blah. If only I could get a place where I didn't even pay rent and they paid it for me, that this would be happiness. And the thing was, it was kind of cool. Of course, the first experience you have that, if you've never had that, you're like, whoa, I didn't believe this was possible. But then it just became unfulfilling. Now, I want to get to this. It wasn't unfulfilling because any of those things are bad or wrong or whatever. If you choose to live those ways and that's your expression, that's fine. I mean, I don't care if you don't make any money, have a woman do stuff for you, or if you live with 2 women or 4 women or whatever. But it's actually not that big of a deal. It's just because it's what you like and that's what it should be. And your expression should never be some massive deal. Remember, as they always say, there's the Wu Chi Fa Grandmaster always says, that in the ordinary, there's extraordinary. So in what we do, if sex is our nature, if your expression is your nature, then it should just feel normal. And man, there was nobody talking about this stuff. There was nobody like me at the time that banged a lot, that fucked a lot, that had a lot of relationships, that pushed themselves, that went to extremes, that went for those things. And even back in, like, if you watch my old 21 convention speeches from 2008 and 9, I'm saying there's a problem, man. There's a problem with approaching. There's a problem with making it about validation. There's a problem with this. There's a problem with so much about the seduction industry that is now kind of like a common theme. But I was trying to figure it out. I didn't get it because nobody was talking about it. And still, it's rare to find a guy that you can really count on that talks about these things. And man, it's so simple. It's so simple what the answer is. If you're not living your expression, if you're not living your choice, if you're not living who you are, then it sucks. Let's say a woman walks down the road and she's hot as fuck. And if I'm not living my sexual intent says she is hot. Fuck, Jesus Christ, she's hot. How did you see her? If I'm not living my expression of going, oh, man, fuck, I don't know what to say, but I just want to talk to her. If I'm not living those things, and what's propelling me to do that is something else, it will be unfulfilling. In that the first couple times, that might be your starter. That might be your spark, right? That gets things going. That might be your Tinder, so to speak, that gets the flame started. Not the app, but hey, maybe the app. But that's that spark, right? To get you going. And that's not bad. The behavior's not bad as long as it moves into your expression. But I'll tell you this, man, there were so many times that, especially 2009, 2010, where it was like, Steve, I want you to go approach that chick and I want you to do this. And it was like, I've done this hundreds of times. I've done this maybe even thousands of times, but I don't want to do it. Man, I'm like resistant I am like terrified. And it's not that I'm terrified, but I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it. I don't want to go up to that girl and do what this guy's telling me. And I've done it 1,000, and it's a girl that I'm attracted to. It's a girl that I would want. It's a girl that this and that, these are all the great things that I would want, but I don't want to do it. Why don't I want to do it? Well, because I value social communication, and I come up with these things in my head, but it's so simple. Because yes, there's a part of me that wants to do it, but I'm not doing it because it's a part of me. I'm doing it because somebody else wants me to, or I'm supposed to, or this is supposed to happen, or there's an expectation. There's not a choice. And man, so much of the greatest relationships, the greatest value of your expression, your life, you're putting your stamp on the world. When you go out and you start a business, or you go out and you start a career, or you go out and you make a friend, or you build something, or you create a social circle, or you start a relationship, or you fuck a chick, or you fuck 10 chicks, or whatever it is dependent upon, man, you want to do it. And you're only doing it for you. You're only doing it for what is going on with you and who you are. And you are honoring the things which are fundamental to what makes you work socially. Your sex drive, your social drive, your expression, your what you want, man, what you want to find out of her. But so many guys block that. They go and they talk to a girl to be socially acceptable. What sucked, before pickup, was that guys didn't know that they could talk to a girl about sex. And it was like, I'm going to go talk to her and be a friend. Or some guys may still have that problem, right? I'm going to go talk to her and make things work or be socially acceptable, because I can't be a man that wants to fuck. Because I can't be a man that thinks that her tits are hot, even though they're fucking hot as fuck. And it's the first thing I notice. And I can't stop thinking about it. I can't stop looking at them, but they inspire me to get to know more of her. So many men didn't have that experience that a lot of this kind of like movement of learning seduction or whatever, helped a lot of guys out with. But the crazy thing is it's got to be about you and only you. And if it's about anything other than that, man, it won't sustain. It won't be fulfilling. I remember when I was 30, I literally thought, I was like, man, I guess when I was 26, 25, I had an amazing sexual partner, a couple of them. And man, it was great. It was great. It was great. So good. But by the time I was 30, I was like, man, I don't think I ever enjoyed sex. I think those times when I was 25 and 26, when it was good, I because I don't like it now. And I tried everything, and I have everything, and I have everything I want. Everything that all the leaders of this thing are saying are the things to get, that people are actually validating me with money to learn, and being able to teach them that wasn't making me happy. And so you get kind of stuck in this mode. Look, you got some social anxiety. You got to get out and talk to some people. You're going to have to break that. All right. You have to get it. If something's making you inactive and not social and not sexual, you have to learn to get there. And you're going to have to use some force. But if you do not learn the second phase of that, to get yourself how to function in that with your own expression and to put it out there, then you're going to fail. And so we see these guys, we see this culture of men now who've been involved in pickup for 10 years or whatever it is, 5 years, 2 years, whatever it is. And you keep looking for your solution to social anxiety is to pressure yourself and to finally be a man and finally be of that image of that guru that you don't really know, but he holds an image of you in front of him or whatever. That's this godlike thing that you look up to and you go, oh my God, if I could just be, because it can never be you, because it's impossible, because you can always dangle that carrot in front of your face of the myth of whoever he is. The crazy thing with that is that that's not going to be your solution. We see guys going over and over that. And what it needs to turn into is when you start confronting your feeling of anxiety, it's going to feel bad. And you have to say, okay, cool. But where can I be me for only me in front of somebody? And I'll even add this, in the easiest possible place right now. I was thinking about this because who was I talking to? I was talking to, I think on a call, Adam Goodson was on, a good member of the group, the coach. You should talk to him. I don't think he minds me saying his name. Hire him. He's a great PTSD coach and many other things, or whatever he's into at the time. Jack of all trades, master of many. But anyway, we were talking about some stuff and I was like, man, why don't I just tell a woman she's beautiful. I should learn that skill and trait. I should do that. I mean, I've done it before, but to any beautiful woman that comes my way, I should do it because I remember why. Because I remember I said it to a girl and she gave me some resistance, like as if I was hitting on her or accosting her with something. I was like, hey, no, I'm actually not hitting. I don't care. Like, why is that a threat? It shouldn't be. So I was like coming up with this experiment to consistently do it all the time. And after a day or something like that, it was like, man, I don't really feel I want to do it. And I got in my head about it going like, why can't I do this? Man, I should, like, what, why can't I? Because you feel bad when you see something and you acknowledge it in yourself and you stop yourself, you feel bad. And then I let it go. And, to be honest, I have a life and other things take over. And just yesterday or 2 days ago, I was reflecting on this and I was like, man, that's dumb. God, why would I ever think that somehow my life, my well-being, my who I am, my sexuality, my whatever, actually is dependent upon whether or not I acknowledge somebody's beauty. Yeah, I have the choice to do that, and it's abundant, and it comes across you every day, and it's great. And when I did do direct game, I did it once a year, where I was willed to do it. I practiced it. Shit, man, my first year or whatever, I did it because it was a joke. It was a novelty. It was a performance. It was whatever. I'd go up to some girl and say, you're the hottest woman I've ever seen. But after a while, it felt weird and bad and awkward. And then, maybe in 2009 or 10 or 11 or 12 or whatever it was, I'd actually say that maybe once, because I actually meant it. And there were probably like 5 to 10 times where one of the hottest girls I had ever seen walked by me. And guess what? I still fucked a lot of chicks. Guess what? I still had a healthy sex life. Guess what? I still didn't approach all the women that I could have, but I was always able, once I got a conversation going, to be willing to be myself, to put that out there and to share that. We got to get ourselves, that second phase of anxiety, once you get yourself active in being social and somewhat functional, is to get out of the self-judgment, get into functionality in the easiest possible way. And for me, I mean, I tell this to people all the time, 2011, 2012, I approached like very few women. And I just had my lifestyle be my lifestyle. I'd hang out at a cafe or I'd travel around. I'd meet somebody in an airport. I'd ask people where whatever bar was. I'd talk to whatever bartender. I didn't approach anybody, and I met people. And I actually had more fulfilling sex, still with plenty of women. Maybe not like 40 or 50 that year, but more like 20 or some odd. But man, we had amazing affairs, fell in love, and had these great experiences. We jump to conclusions when we play our internal game, especially because we don't communicate honestly about it. Whereas if we think we don't take an action or if we don't do something, that means something fundamentally about us, when it just means in that moment, we let it go. Anyway, there's so many different things in life that it's not dependent upon always being. It's just dependent upon always living. Take a breath, inhale, breathe out, eat some food, get some sleep, do all the things that you were born to be, and just make it about saying hello. Otherwise, we make things too much of a big deal about something that's so simple. Just because my fear is a big deal, just because my baggage is a big deal to me when I'm in pain, doesn't mean that I need to bring it with me into everybody else's world when I say hi, smile, and wave my hand. All right. Social anxiety people. Hey, follow the links down below. Subscribe to our podcast. It's good stuff. There's dating relationship podcasts. There's daily awesome podcasts. There's YouTube stuff. There's lives that we do. But get involved, and we do it, God, because we have such a good thing going. It's awesome. Be a part of our groups. Start somewhere. And you'll figure out where to go from there. All right. Later.